Are either of you the villain in someone else's story?
Always. I mean, not
Probably,
always.
probably,
Not always, but
Probably
always.
so.
Yes.
probably so.
That's funny. What does really healing actually look like? What are the steps? We already talked about, changing behavior, changing patterns. It's not just exclusively about changing, right? I love that you brought up, just an example of somebody that's an alcoholic. The first stages that they go through, they can't even be around it. It's the scent, the thought, the commercial, anything can trigger them, right? How do you get into a point where you actively begin to change your patterns? You actively begin to change your pattern of behavior because that's real what healing really is about. It's about changing patterns. How do you do it?
Uh, For me, I would say, and it's just my opinion, when your back is truly against the wall, and it's do or die for you. If it's a mental thing, it's that individual, unfortunate, it's constantly contemplating suicide or having drug use, and you're heading down a deadly path. When your back get against the wall, uh, and I don't have many more opportunities, because the worst person to fight or escape is yourself, because you can't escape yourself. You can't fight yourself in that physical aspect. So your back is against the wall. You feel like, if I don't get it right this time for me, there is no tomorrow.
So what's your POV on that?
I think first things first is that we have to be in a position where we want to change, where we know that. And I think that's what Big Mike is saying is that when we know this is our sometimes a lot of times it comes down to when you hear the term like rock bottom. A lot of times you hear that's when a lot of change happens. We feel like this is our only way. Either we're going, it's like do or die, basically. Um, unfortunately, that's a lot of times when we where we end up where we want greater and we know that this is we have to do so. And a lot of times we don't even know what that looks like. We just know we got to do something different. We know that we've done it, 10 times the other way and it hasn't worked. So now we know that if we want it to change, if we really want to see true change, we're going to have to do something different. And it's fine. And that's the thing I think people it's okay not to have all the answers. And I think that's where, seeking out, trusted counsel from friends, family, a therapist, I think is key. That's the other thing. Therapy is powerful, but sometimes just talking to a girlfriend, talking to a friend, talking to, a family member, if you had that person, talking to your pastor, it may not, because some people, therapy may be too scary for people. I think the biggest thing is seeking counsel, praying too, if you are a praying person. I think what that looks like for you, don't be confined in what you see on, social media and all that stuff. I think we have to do what works for you. That may be the first step. The next step may look different, but the first step might just be picking up the phone and or texting someone and saying, "Hey, I need you to call me," or "Can we talk? Or can we go out to lunch?" Or it's just doing that first step to, to get us to the
But
next place.
before you, Jim, I just want to add something because you triggered something for me. Uh, when you're back against the wall or you're at rock bottom, you trigger me when you say, some people say, I didn't try this 10 times or 20 times. We tried it, but then we put 100% effort into it. And a lot of times we go back and we say, you know what? I was skipping steps. I was pretending. I wasn't fully in.
Yeah.
And, and I think you said it earlier, if you're not fully in it, you're wasting your time. Unfortunately, that's a true statement. And you hate to say it when we're talking about healing, but if you're not fully engaged in healing, you're pretending, you're going to find yourself starting over, and over to heal because you are not taking full accountability, that word again, and going straight in the deep and saying, you know what, I'm in the deep, I'm not coming back.
I like that. I think also what healing really looks like is apologizing without excuse, right? Setting boundaries, choosing growth when nobody's watching. I'm gonna say that again. Choosing growth when nobody's watching, because I think it kind of ties back to what we talked about. I think in the second segment, is it a private action or a public?
Right.
And I think a lot of people, again, it's 100% due to the therapy culture. It's cool to say I'm working on myself without really working on myself. It's cool to say that I'm healing. Well, how did you heal? Oh, well, I just stopped talking to this person. I just stopped hanging with these people.
Just cut someone off.
It does that contribute to your healing? You got to put work in. That's my point. It's not only just waking up to something and responding differently. It's not about just choosing or deflecting or cutting out people that makes situations uncomfortable for you. It's more about choosing patience when anger feels easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about learning to listen instead of always ready to defend.
That's good.
Because you ever had someone that you deal with, that live with you,
Okay.
that the conversation is immediately met with it's immediately met with aggression and from a defensive posture.
Not active listening.
Not active listening, always having an excuse. To, if you did this to me, then I'm gonna do this to you, blah blah blah. And I think that that's the hardest part. And I like one of the last points that we made about doing it quiet instead of putting out a PSA, right? And just rolling off the scene for 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, then popping back out, and you ain't doing no work. You're still in the same place you were before you rolled off the scene. So we need you to really stop, pump faking, and we need you to really put the work in.
Yeah. And I think, part of that is, resources. What are, how can people navigate and find the resources that they need to really do the work? Like I said earlier, it's the connection. I think sometimes people honestly don't know where they feel like, depending on, the space that you're in, you may not have a lot of family or you may fell out with your family. So what does that look like when you don't have the resources? So are there resources out there for people? Or, a lot of times, sometimes you want an independent person, impartial person that's not a part of the family, not a part of your circle that can give you, that support. But something else that I thought about, and I don't know, if it definitely aligns with the conversation that we're having, is I notice a trend that I'm seeing, that I see on social media, is that when people, are going through something and they announce on social media, like, oh, I need to take a detox. I need to protect my peace. I need to, so it made me think about that as far as the public versus the private, right? So they're publicly kind of saying, I need to make this exit. And then immediately, you know what people do once they announce that? Oh, how can I help or keep in touch? Let's connect. I want to still, but it's like, are we doing that? Are we just connecting with that person just naturally off of them? They post a good morning. Are we just saying good morning? You know what I mean? But as soon as it's almost, I wonder in some ways, is that the person's call for help, cry for help?
I don't think it's a cry for help. And that's one of the things that I was going to talk about.
Okay.
You have a lot of people that's out in the space, and there are people that are crying out for help, but they're going to do it probably a little bit different. You know what I mean? I don't think people in those situations are actually working on themselves. I think they're just working on their end. And you know what I mean? Like, especially in the social media space, like it's that instant gratification. It's that instant attention thrill that they get, right? And I really believe if you really working on yourself, then you roll off the scene very silently, and then you re-enter.
Right.
You don't put a PSA out with blinking strobe lights.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of people do. I think that a lot of people, kind of going back, we already talked about accountability.
Right.
Talked about, awareness without any transformation. It's a bad equation, right?
Correct.
But once you take accountability, you identify the things, the pain, trauma, what have you. The next part that you have to do is you have to forgive who've wronged you. And look, I'm still working on that part. So,
we all know.
Well, no, you know what? As far as forgiving, no, to protect my peace, I had to forgive people and things. And what I wanted to ask you all were, what does forgiveness mean? Does forgiveness mean you truly forgive them and you never talk to them again? Or does it mean that you can forgive them and still talk to them?
Forgiveness, I think people confuse forgiveness with forgetting. Just because I forgive you don't mean I totally forget what you did or whatever happened in that situation. Forgiving, like we all know, it's for you. That's your peace. That's you saying, I forgive you for that action. But the only true way I can really tell if I forgive, I give space and not have it railed. Doesn't mean I forgot, but it doesn't hurt me when I'm in your circle. Or it doesn't wear that ugly flame of like, man, if I grab him right now, would I justify? Yeah. And that's forgiveness, because as long as you're walking around with that frustration, that anger, that pain, and you can't get around that person, as we all know, that person don't think of that.
Right.
Yeah. They like, man, I didn't know you was mad like that. And I always tell my family, I say, it's just one of those things. You can be honest without being hurtful. Yeah. You can identify, you can say, I forgive you, but I'm letting you know you hurt me. Now, how you take it? Now, we're not going to fuss about it. I'm just saying you hurt me, whether it's your words or your action. But I can be honest without perfect. That helps the forgiving portion, because that person walking around like, I didn't know it. I said that. And it offended you. So we just got to open up sometimes and just approach them. And you got to be ugly about it.
I think I love what you just said. And I think that, one of the main takeaways, healing is uncomfortable. Healing is very uncomfortable at times. And another thing with accountability that a lot of people don't like is the truth. Sometimes the truth stings. It burns.
Hurts.
But that sting, that burn, that's where the transformation lives. That's where the growth lives. I want to do something different tonight, right? I want to introduce something. We're going to do this every show moving forward. No, it's simple. No, I want to do like rapid fire questions. Right? So I'm going to ask the question and you guys can, just give on.
Okay.
Just give an honest answer. No long explanations, just short, honest answers. If nobody could see your progress, would you still be doing the work?
You for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna say yes. If it's important for me, yes.
You think most people are growing or just getting old?
Most people, you talking about me, myself, or just people?
You put people around you. You can put yourself. These are rapid.
I'm gonna say people in my circle are growing,
Good.
not just getting older. Because it's the circle. I've changed my circle, so the people in the circle now are growing.
I say both. That was the first thing that came to my mind was actually both. I think getting older pushes a lot of people to grow. So I say both, and I don't think both is necessarily a bad thing, but I say both.
What hurts you more, failure or regret?
Regret.
Okay. Are each of you becoming the person you said you wanted to be 5 years ago?
Or am I becoming?
Yeah. Oh, if you feel like you're there.
Oh, understand.
Are you becoming?
Oh, yeah.
The person you said you would be 5 years ago.
Becoming.
Yeah, I'm working towards it.
Under construction.
Okay, that's fair. Are you guys living intentionally or just reacting to life?
I think let's say both.
Y'all taking too long. This is rapid fire.
Oh, I hit it quick. I hit it quick intentionally.
Okay.
I'll say both though.
Are either of you the villain in someone else's story?
Always. I mean, not always. Not always, but always. Yes.
Probably so.
That's what.
I mean, always, but yeah. I mean, you know what the funny thing about when you say like a villain, you don't have to be trying to be, but you can end up being that villain, right? And I think that's why I say always. I don't think I'm a villain in a lot of people's stories, but
Now next week I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
so that's something I was saying. So next week me and Big Mike are gonna come prepared. We're gonna have some
Questions for you.
I don't want to come up with them on the spot, but
No, that was really good. But I do think, incorporating the rapid response questions. I mean, obviously they're going to be tied to the show topic.
You're right.
I think that gives a new little element to what we're doing as far as quotes, word of the day, and other things.
In the human side.
Yeah,
and it's reflective.
Yes, I like that.
All right. So before we close, again, I think tonight was a very good episode. I think we talked about something that's very relevant and very material to the culture. Doesn't matter, black, white, indifferent. It's social media, right? And the access to information. We've allowed a lot of probably bad advice, bad influencers, and the list can go on and on into our lives. And it's really unfortunate that, there's a culture of, with the lack of accountability.
Right.
Everybody's doing all this work again, but we don't see any progress moving forward. So, healing isn't a destination. It's a decision that each of us make over and over and over again. Not when the camera's on, not when you have to play nice, not when people are clapping, but when you're alone. We always talk about often, do you like the person? Can you sleep well? If you were somebody else, would you admire that person if you're looking back in the mirror? How do we decide to be better than we were yesterday? I think we hit it on the head.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Awareness is the first step. Accountability is the second step. And change is proof that both have already.
Yeah, I wondered it.
Sure.
You use the word, and it's such a powerful word outside of accountability. Keyword, truth. It's another one people run from. So just wanted to add that one. You got to be truthful when you change it. And that truth, not to other people about them, but about yourself. So I just think that's an important word. I think we should add to that.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Awareness, accountability, truth. To the next time, this is Mr. Sincere. Stay sturdy, choose wisely, and we'll catch you in traffic. Hey.